Chapter 1. President Rayne. Behold, I give you your president, Sordland, Anton Rayne, 4th president of Sordland, elected in 1954 for the United Sordland Party. Alright, so, as I'm learning this is our personal wealth. We have 1, whatever monetary unit it is. The government budget has 7. The economy is poo-poo because we're in a recession. We'll get to the other things in a moment. Election campaign promises. As Anton Rayne, you have made consequential promises to the people of Sordland to gain their votes in the 1953 election campaign. Consider these commitments carefully. Economic direction. After the recent market reforms and the recession, the country finds itself stuck between 2 different economic systems with indecision and turbulence, causing the population to demand a direction. We're going to go for a market economy. Diplomatic leaning. The global rivalries between capitalist Arcasia in the West, that's an analog for the United States of America, the monarchy of Rumburg to the north, and the communist United Contana in the east are intensifying. The United Contana is kind of an analog for the Soviet Union. I wish they'd use the United States and the Soviet Union to make it easier to remember, but I'm guessing they use fictional names because the other countries are fictional. So Arcasia, think of America. United Contana, think of USSR. Sordland has the potential to align with others or lean towards neutrality. We're going to align with the West if we can. I don't know if we'll be able to. Immigration policy. In the last 5 years, Blutish, Wessex, and Agnolian immigrants flocked to Sordland due to relaxed immigration laws enacted by former President Ewald Alfonso. As a result, these tensions are causing requests for a political solution. This is tough. If we had a great economy, I would instantly say, not a problem, who cares? But with a bad economy, we probably should toughen immigration laws, but, screw it. We let let's role play. We let the immigrants in last episode, the refugees. So we're just gonna be chill. You wanna come in and be a Sordlandian and embrace our culture and work here? Come on in. So now we gotta pick what we're gonna focus on for this term. Now, education would be nice, but education is a long-term investment, right? If we invest in education, I don't know how long our term was, that's not going to get us out of the recession in a couple years. We need something that's going to help. Defense could. Putting money into defense could stimulate short-term economic growth that could spread throughout the economy and put us in a safer spot. Fuck law enforcement. And health. Who needs health? We have all these immigrants coming in. If you die, we'll just use someone new. I mean, we love you. We're going to go with defense. The Sordish armed forces were the nation's most funded branch until the Alfonso government reduced the defense budget significantly with the increase of saber-rattling threats looming in the north by Rumburg. See, this is another reason to boost our defense. We have a northern neighbor who's aggressive, and a growing presence of the superpowers in the region. The critical deterrence of SAF matters more than ever. So we're going to promise superior defensive stuff. 2 weeks have passed since we won the election. And now I was about to be sworn in as the president, the 4th president of Sordland. Thousands were watching the inauguration ceremony, ensuring my name, Anton, Anton, Anton. The die was cast, and my story began. In the distance, the Maroon Palace, which is... It's where the executive branch of the Sordish government is situated. In the distance, the Maroon Palace stood on top of the famous Hill of Pride. The Hill of Pride was named after the declaration of the Kingdom of Sordland, where thousands of countrymen started proudly singing the new anthem of Sordland. So we're getting a geography lesson. The Hill of Pride is inside the large capital park, which gives the whole Sordians a chance to relax from the city stress with free time activities in nature. The hill has great symbolic importance because of the declaration of the kingdom and the republic which took place on top of it during the last century. Now, game, that better be important, because if I just read flavor text for nothing, I'm going to be an angry president. I looked at my family, my son and daughter, Frank and Deanna, and they were next to my wife, Monica. Her eyes were glimmering with pride. Then I turned towards the key people who made it all possible. Of course, each individual was promised an important position in my government. Ugh. I saw my previous rival and former president, Uwald Alfonso. He's gonna like, you pronounce my name differently every time. It's my good friend Eddie. My name's not Eddie. Gave me a slight nod. Tarkin's soul was also invited, but as expected, he didn't leave his island retreat. I don't blame him. As my thoughts slowly faded away, the reality of the situation dawned on me. Orso Hawker, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, was waiting for me. I'm reading about Orso here. So Orso was the supporter of Sol when he was president. Orso is like, I think the Chief Justice, the Chief Justice on the Supreme Court. Some of his rulings were controversial, though, because he outlawed the Brutish Freedom Party. So this guy has kind of been using the court as a tool to keep our party in power. Well, for Sol, Sol's long gone. He is a staunch supporter of the establishment and represents the majority of the Supreme Court. He is regarded by some as the most powerful and divisive figure in Swordlish politics. He, also Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, was waiting for me. The time has come for the oath. Sure it is, man. I'm ready. Please repeat after me. I do solemnly swear. Yeah, I do too, bitch fuck. I do solemnly swear. Oh wait, there was more. I do solemnly swear that I will respectfully execute the office, don't kill me, of the President of Sordland. And to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend. And to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the people and the Constitution of the Republic of Sordland. You may now deliver your inauguration speech, Mr. President. It is an honor, Orso Hawker. It is an honor, sir. Wait, that was my line. My fellow swords! What's up, bitches? The crowd looked very eager to listen to me. Or I'm a narcissist and I just assume that, like every politician. The current situation is dire, I say. The economy is in Poopsville. We are enduring economic hardship like never before, and today our nation is falling apart. Our people, we suffer. We still have insufficient infrastructure, houses without electricity, without water. We have crime in our streets, unemployment within our youth, and we still have injustices in the government that plague us. Alright, I'm not going to promise we're going to eliminate poverty, because there's always going to be poor people. First, we must rewrite our broken constitution, the one from 1929. Changed now, not in the next decade or years. Today! Hopefully I'm not writing a check my ass can't cash. Hundreds of thousands cheered. They were shouting my name in unison. What's my name? Anton Rayne! He's insane! Got some brain! I felt the responsibility, the power, and the burden all at the same time. Unlimited power! I'm gonna wave. Hey everybody! I'm the president! I'm the president! I love you! I waved at the crowd, which made the people cheer louder. He's waving, y'all! He's waving at me! I took a long look at the people of Sordland to burn this moment into my memory. Remember, stupid brain, remember! One of the presidential guards came by to notify me that it was time to leave. I made my way to the leading card in the motorcade. The presidential state card was a jet black Cadilla, or Cadilla? I don't know, with flags of Sordland above the front headlights. Next to it, a man was holding the door.
Hello, Mr. President. If you'll allow me to introduce myself, I am Serge, your new driver.
Nice to meet you, Serge.
It's an honor.
He respectfully bowed his head before opening the car door and gesturing inside. I entered the car. Dude, you don't have to bow to me. I'm a president.
We'll be headed towards the palace, sir.
The motorcade began to move. On the way, Serge proceeded to explain his duties as a driver. As the minutes passed by, I found myself lost in thought again, barely paying attention to what he was saying. He suddenly gestured out the window.
It's a beauty, isn't it, the Maroon Palace?
Yeah, it's great. He was right. The sunlight glinted off of the palace's many maroon-colored domes. It was so bright that I had to look away. It's burning my eyes, Serge. What have you done to me?
Every time I look at it, I am reminded of my duty to this nation.
What a nerd, Serge. Yeah, you're a nerd. It's just a building, bro.
You are right, Mr. President. I don't know much about architecture, but for me, it is the most beautiful building in all of Holsword.
Then why don't you go fuck it already? Holsword is the vibrant capital of Sordland. The car drove past the majestic gates, continued uphill to the entrance, and stopped in front of the doors. Serge got out of the car and opened the door for me. Thanks, Serge. That's nice of you, bro.
Have a great day, Mr. President. Morgna Westcore.
He referred to the famous Sordish phrase. He referred to the famous Sordish phrase from the times of revolution. A Morgna Westcore Vectern Sista, which means morning will come, victory is close. Yeah, Vectern Sista to you too, brosif. I made my way upstairs through the extravagant corridors of the palace. Marble and engraved wooden finishes decorated the interior. I've made it! If Mustopheles could see me now, he'd be so proud. I am proud of you, Anton. My footsteps echoed in the colossal halls. The guards bowed their heads in respect as I opened the massive doors to my new office. Alright, there's a bunch of shit to look at. We've now been released. This is the local map, right? This is our country here, and the different provinces in our country. If we click the global map, we can go to a more global map. Cold War! West versus East. To understand the game, we need to understand the bigger picture. There is a massive Cold War going on between a Western power bloc and an Eastern power bloc. The West is led by the superpower Arcasia. Imagine the United States of America. It is the founding member of ATO. It's NATO without an N. The Arcasian Treaty Organization. It is made up of 14 member nations in a defensive treaty organization. The goals of ATO are to protect and expand democracy, the free market, and human rights. They are anti-CSP. The East is led by the United Contana, the world's communist superpower. Imagine the USSR. They lead the CSP, the Contana Security Pact. It has 9 member nations. I assume, but I don't know yet, that they're probably puppet states like during the Cold War. Their goal is to protect and spread millennialism. It's basically communism, a planned economy, and they are anti-ATO. Both superpower blocs are jockeying to protect themselves and expand their sphere of influence into the continent we live on, Maricopa. I hope that we can eventually align ourselves with the freedom and human rights of the West, but we will see. Our neighbors may have different goals. here we are. I can read. Here's Rumburg, the place that has been threatening us. They are unfriendly. They have an overwhelming military. They have a bigger population than us. Ay, ay, ay. And they have a queen. Queen Bitchface. Alright, so I'm kind of looking through here. She's in charge of a constitutional monarchy. She's notable because she invaded her neighbor Agnolia. That's another country next to us, I believe. And annexed part of their country. And the international community was like, what a bitch face. And then she also is known for selling weapons to both sides of the Wayland Civil War. I think that's the civil war that we let the refugees escape from into our country. Yeah, there's Agnolia right there, our other neighbor. Prime Minister Van Horten, this dipshit, congratulated us, oh, he must be the leader of this place, on our election and praised our party's stance on just and transparent elections. He signaled his wishes to continue the trade partnership between our countries as equal partners, as opposed to earlier trade deals, which he believes gave Sordland unfair advantages. Look, dude, we should probably be allies, because we have a mutual aggressive neighbor to the north. I also think I should continue to fuck you with trade deals that help me. God bless. So taking a quick look at his profile, he is a democratically elected centrist leader. He ran on the campaign promise of free trade deals, and so he's trying to get better trade deals with his partners, which mean his neighbors, which means he's probably going to want trade deals with us. All right, I already read this report. Can we get rid of it? I don't know who these guys are. I don't really care right now. Wayland, that's the place that had the Civil War. Congratulations from President Smolak of Wayland. He sent his congratulations on the election victory and wished for a cooperative future between Wayland and Sordland, signaling a desire to normalize the diplomatic situation between the two countries. He's like, I love you so much. What? I mean, you're a nice guy. Well, taking a brief look at him, in his first years as president, the guy in Wayland, he oppressed and persecuted most of his opposition. He censored the press, seized the assets of multimillionaires. That's not so bad. As a starch anti-Arcasian, he blamed the royalist liberals and Democrats for the Civil War and the subsequent Arcasian invasion. He brought Wayland closer to the United Contana, so he's closer to, like, the Soviet Union type country. Commies! He also... His rule has been marked by thousands of British people being arrested and killed. I believe they're a minority in his country. As well as military action against the British Freedom Front, which set up bases in northeastern Wayland. Okay. Alright, so that's these guys. What about Lesbia? Congratulations from Prime Minister Alvarez. Prime Minister Alvarez congratulated you for the results and spoke about his hopes to have a beneficial partnership deal in the future. He sent his best wishes to the Sordish people and warned about the threats of the encroaching Malinovists. Oh, these are like commies. That's who the Wayland's like. It's a communist theory. I lost my place. Alvarez sent his best wishes to the Sordish people and warned us about threats of the encroaching Malinovists. I just want to say communists. Influence of the United Cortana from the east, emphasizing the importance of unity in our continent, Mercopa. So Mercopa is the continent we're on. Alright, so Volksland is right here. They're a democratic republic, but are they? They're a member of OMEC. I think that's like OPEC. And they're a member of the... Okay, so these guys are a member of what's essentially the Warsaw Pact. The CSP. Commie Town. And these guys are interested in it. I don't think they're a member of it. No, but they are a member of what's like OPEC. And then down here is like NATO. The Arcasian Treaty Organization. Let's take a look at this overview. We're going to try and do a relatively quick view. There's a lot you can get into. Our country has compulsory military service. We've got a special kind of military police. These are our situations under the military. The military police interfere in politics. That's not good. They have a history of political involvement and influence. Of course, there was a military coup way back. We have outdated military equipment. We need to fix that. One of our promises has been updating and building the national defense. Our gendarme, that's French, ain't it? I ain't so good at Frenchy Le Pew. They're responsible for maintaining security, so that's kind of in between. We have a large reservist pool, that's good. And we have experienced generals. When it comes to the law, we want to change the Constitution. But the only way for us to do that is if we get a 2/3 majority in the state assembly and a simple majority vote from the Supreme Court. That's going to be an issue. We have this thing called honorary member. Tarkin Sol, remember, he was once kind of like the dictator, elected dictator. He is an honorary member, which means he is immune from persecution or prosecution. I'm guessing that's going to come back. Justices of the Supreme Court have immunity. They can't be charged for crimes. The president can have unlimited terms, meaning we can be elected as many times as, well, the people want us. And there's this thing called presidential decrees where we can just declare laws so long as they're not unconstitutional. The law situations is there's a massive court back law. Women's rights are super backwards. Women can't study certain things like natural sciences, social sciences. For some reason, they can't go to school and study certain things. We have a problem with the Bloods. The Bludish population has been discriminated against. They have unequal treatment, so I assume that's a minority that is getting treated like shit in our country. Currently, the Supreme Court and the Ministry of Justice have a dispute about who's in charge of what. We have some human rights. We need more. But we do have freedom of the press. That's pretty important. We have good freedom of the press. When it comes to the economy, we have Alfonsonomics. That was the guy before us. He was implementing the free market reform, but he didn't get all the way there. So we're kind of halfway between a planned communist economy and a proto-free market economy. We also have this law that limits foreign investment in energy infrastructure in this country. We have weak transportation links, a massive unemployment with massive recession. People are evading taxes left and right. Our trade is awful. Bergia, one of our economic regions, its economy is going into the shitter. The Lauren Rust Belt, the same thing. England, I think that's the green area up here, same thing. So we have like 3 provinces who are having especially hard economic problems. We'll try and remember those: Bergia, Lauren, and England. Already forgotten them. Stagnated production. Our production is not growing. This area, Groony, is barely growing. So we have one area that's growing, but barely. And our tourism industry is kind of mediocre, which isn't a surprise. We're a country that's come out of civil wars and economic and political upheaval. Maybe not the most interesting or a safe place to go. You know, for a long period of time, I bet Beirut didn't have a big tourist industry. If this is anything like CK2, someone from Beirut's going to be like, how dare you say that about Beirut? I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. We have welfare principles of some type. Voluntary vaccinations. If you want to get vaccinated, you do. If you don't, you don't. Freedom of curriculum. Different provinces can teach whatever they want. You know, if they want to teach creationism, if they want to teach evolution, who cares? That's up to the local regions. Our welfare system is horribly overburdened. Healthcare in the rural areas is bad. If you're a farmer, Mostopheles ain't getting no help. If you live in a rural area, education is awful. Inconsistent curriculum. Because the curriculums are different so much from area to area, some places have books that are probably good, and other schools have books that are awful. You remember the 4 elements, and somebody's like, dude, there's like 100 of them now. There's also a soulist education. If you remember, Tarkin Sol was like the great guy who overthrew the military dictatorship. We teach everybody, all the kids, that he was a great founding father. And that's an okay thing. I don't really care about that, you know, one way or the other. But we do have good urban institutions. If you live in one of the big cities, the welfare system there actually is pretty decent for the old, for the disabled. If you live outside of the big cities, you're fucked. But if you live in a big city, that's there. For order, the state has security privileges, meaning that the police state has basically things they can do regular people can't. There's horrible corruption in the nation, huge amount of illegal immigration, horrible organized crime from the Coronelli and Skinner cartels. There's also a dispute with the Bergian governor. Apparently, the special region of Bergia has its own devolved powers, and our Ministry of the Interior doesn't like that, because the Minister of the Interior is like, we want rules everywhere, and Bergia is like, get bent. And then there's a persistent threat from the Blutish Freedom Front. We heard about them being persecuted in our communist neighbor. Maybe they're going to be a threat here too. Who knows? Maybe if we make the Blues feel like they're enfranchised, maybe that'll take away the power. Who knows? We are currently an AN member. AN is kind of like the United Nations, so it's worthless. We're an OMEC member. I'm pretty sure this is an economic group. We're a founding member of OMEC. I think that's supposed to be like OPEC. We're currently a neutral nation. Regional threats are Rumburg to the north. They are a threat to us. They've attacked neighbors of ours. We have no strong allies. That's a problem. There is some foreign energy influence. Other countries want to influence our energy policy. We are an influential OMEC member, being a founder. We have experienced diplomats and balanced energy prices. Our economy is shit, but I guess gas is reasonably priced. Well, y'all, that's going to be the end of this episode. Thanks for sticking around. We had a lot to learn this episode about our neighbors and the world stage and what's going on in our nation. Next time it should get a little more interesting as we start to do some meetings, start to make decisions, and we try and navigate this troubled ship of state through the choppy waves of the world politic.